In this movie, I'll show you how to simplify the multi-stroke effect in order to accommodate a curving path outline, which means getting rid of the transform effects. And as a result, I'm not able to achieve those highlights and shadows. Also notice, by the way, that we have a little bit of distortion associated with these wooden ties, but that's because we have a lot of curvature going on here. As soon as we create the final track effect, which has more gentle bends in it, as you can see, we're going to get rid of a lot of that distortion as well. And despite the weird lighting that's going on, the fact, for example, that I don't have any highlights on the wooden ties and the highlights are coming in from different angles on the two rails, the final result ends up looking pretty darn good. So I'll go ahead and switch over to my document in progress and twirl open the tracks layer. And then I'll turn off that new group that we just created, and I'll turn back on this curving outline here. And I'll click on it with the black arrow tool to select it. And then I'll switch to the eyedropper, which is still set up to lift the appearance attributes. And I'll just go ahead and click on this rail here in order to duplicate the strokes that we've applied so far, many of which will remain useful to us. All right, now I'll switch over to the appearance panel. We're going to get rid of a lot of things here, not quite everything, but an awful lot, starting with the second to bottommost stroke. So I'll click on it, and then I'll shift click on this brown stroke here. And we'll go ahead and get rid of them just by clicking on the trash can in the lower right corner of the panel. Then I'll go ahead and select these two guys directly below the white cover-up stroke, and I'll delete them as well. And then we want to delete everybody else above that white stroke. So go ahead and click on this 10-point stroke, then scroll up the list, shift-click on the top one, and click on the trash can icon. So you're going to be left with just 4 strokes. The great thing is these strokes contain the dash and gap information so that we won't have to re-enter those values. Now go ahead and click on that bottommost stroke, and then click on the little page icon at the bottom of the panel to duplicate it, and turn the duplicate off for a moment. And then go ahead and change the color of the bottom stroke to shadow wood, and that will be the base for our tracks. Then go ahead and turn the duplicate stroke back on, and reduce its line weight value to 120 points, and then click on stroke. And we do have to adjust these dash and gap values. I'm going to take the dash value from 24 down to 14, which means I'm reducing it by 10. And so I need to split that 10 between the gap values, meaning that I need to add 5 to each one. So I'll change the first value to 25 and the second gap value to 25 as well in order to create this effect here. All right, now let's take care of these two strokes, which represent the base plates. I went ahead and twirled both of them open. I'll click on this transform effect, click on the trash can to get rid of it, click on this transform effect, and click on the trash can to get rid of it as well. All right, now I'll change the line weight for the bottommost stroke to 100 points, and then I'll go ahead and take the line weight for the lighter stroke up to 98 points in order to create this effect here. All right, the white cover-up stroke is just fine, so all you need to do is click on it to make it active so that the next strokes we create will be on top of it. Now click on the Add New Stroke icon down here in the bottom left corner of the panel, and click on the word stroke and turn off the dash line checkbox. And then change the weight of this line to 90 points, and we want to change the color from white to medium rail. And this will serve as the beginning of our rail effect. Now click Add New Stroke again, or press that keyboard shortcut Control-Alt/, or Command-Option/ on the Mac. Going to change the color this time to white, and I'll reduce the line weight to 86 points so that we have 2 points of gray showing up on either side. And then I'll add another new stroke. I'll change the color to light rail this time around. And these are just shades of gray, by the way. There's nothing else going on with them. Change the line weight to 82 points. Click Add New Stroke. Go ahead and change the color of this one to shadow rail, and then I'll reduce the line weight value from 82 points to 72 points. That way each of the rails is 5 points wide. And then finally, I'll add another new stroke, change its color this time to dark rail, and then reduce the line weight value by 4 to 68 points. All right, now we need to add back in the wooden ties and the base plates in the central area of the train track. So I'll click on this bottommost stroke and shift click on this light gray stroke right there, the 98.1, in order to select all 4. And then I'll Alt drag or Option drag those strokes to the top of the stack in order to duplicate them. Now we want to change the line weights to 64 points apiece. So take this guy down to 64, take this one down to 64 points. Unfortunately, you have to do this one stroke at a time. And grab this guy He wants to be 64 points, and so does this one right here. And we end up achieving this effect here. Now, we don't need that brown stroke to be dashed in this way because we'll cover it up with white in just a moment. So I'll click on the word stroke next to the dark brown swatch, and I'll turn off dashed line for it. Now we need to fill in the dark edge of the plate and the rail in this central area right here. So grab this stroke and this one, the second and third strokes near the top of the list, and Alt-drag or Option-drag them to the top of the stack to duplicate them, and then move the wood grain stroke on top and change its line weight from 64 points to 54 points, like so. And then you want to change the line weight for that second dark gray stroke to 56 points in order to create this effect here. And now the final thing we need to do is fill in the regions of white. So I'll grab this guy, the white 140 point dash stroke, and go ahead and Alt-drag or Option-drag it to the top of the stack. Change its line weight from 140 points to 64 points, so it matches these guys down here. And then click on the word stroke and change the dash value to 40, and then change the gap value to 24 so that they still add up to a total of 64 points. And that, folks, is a simplified version of the train track effect that works with a curving path outline. And if I were to switch to the rotate tool, you can see that I can rotate this line to any angle I like, and the effect still remains intact.